So this is our installation that will be going in Washington State. What's different about this installation than our normal installations is this is actually going under a bridge, so it's going to be shorter. So one of the critical dimensions is going to be the height between the roadway and this net in the cross ramp. And right now we're going to measure that height, and we're hoping it's at least 16 feet 6 inches. And if it is, then we've built a good product. So go ahead. All right, we're going to bring it up. We're going to measure it. Okay, now we're at the top position, and the measurement is 16.7.
Do you want a snapshot of this?
So we really don't have a specification of how fast this has to go up and down, but we try to shoot for 30 seconds. We know if it's 30 seconds, it has plenty of time for the integrators to raise and lower. So we're going to time it right now. Probably 15, 16 seconds. Yeah. Here's introduction to VAB. This unit is going into the state of Washington under a bridge, which is a little bit different than usual. Our normal units are freestanding, out in the open, plenty of access. This one is going to be under a bridge, so it had to be shorter. We had to shorten it by about 2 feet. That also brought down the space between the ground and the net, but we still meet the straight criteria of 16 feet 6 inches. The system has a bunch of individual parts, but they all work in unison. The major parts of the system are the net itself, which is aircraft cable net. Each aircraft cable would be able to withstand like 25,000 pounds of tension before it snaps. So it's, even if we had cables break during a vehicle arrestment, the net would still hold up. We have 2 energy absorbers. There's 200 feet of tape in each energy absorber. It's a special lubricated steel. And what happens if a vehicle comes and hits this net, these tapes start paying out. And what they do is they go through a serpentine pattern, and to actually get the tape to move through that pattern, you're bending the tape back and forth. So the tape's yielding. And while it's doing that, it's actually sucking all the energy out of the vehicle. The mechanism that makes this go up and down is the key components are, again, these 2 structural towers, 10-inch square tubes. There's a cross ramp at the top, which is a multiple of different type of structures, basically tubes. They're all there for, to withstand wind. That's the key player on this. We have 3 horsepower motor, gearbox, drive chains. The chains are actually attached to the bottom and top of this device right here. This is what we call our carriage. So the carriage actually houses the 2 energy absorbers. The drive motor basically picks the chain up when the carriage is going up and the net goes up and reverses itself. We have right here is a chain tensioner. It's try to keep the chain as taut as possible without over tightening it. So it has some flexibility, because as this goes up and down, you might have a little bit of jogging, and there's a big spring that actually adjusts for that. The net itself, again, when we tension the net, we actually use the energy absorbers to get the initial tension. We basically suck the energy absorbers out. That brings the net tauter. The final tensioning is done by a series of turnbuckles. We have one at the top and bottom of every side of the net, so we duplicate on the other side. This whole structure gets covered by sheet metal, so none of this is really exposed to the elements. The key thing in the sheet metal is we actually have these wipers right here. Yeah, it's basically, it's a plastic wire almost, but what it does is it lets the energy absorbers go up and down and keeps most of the debris from getting back into the energy absorbers or the tower itself. Other things, we have This is actually rated to withstand a hurricane. So, extremely thick base plates. And again, this has been proven over and over again to withstand some pretty big storms. We currently have these units in Texas, Arizona, Chicago. Trying to think where else we have it. I think, there are a bunch in Canada. Again, we're now going to be going into Washington State. There's a cousin to this system, as you would call it. It's a truck escape ramp. It's actually a series of these nets that's used to stop tractor trailers going out of control, coming down steep inclines, like for example the Teton Pass out in Wyoming. It's anybody who's ever seen a truck lose its brakes can smell it before it gets to you because the stink is so bad. But we have a series of nets will safely stop a truck. Truck driver walks away with not a whole lot of damage to the vehicle. A huge improvement over the gravel traps they have currently now. Again, we've had these systems in existence for over 30 years. Our first units are finally being refurbished and are replaced out in Chicago. They could have been refurbished, but we realized that for not a whole lot more money, we could bought brand new, so we did that. Instead of trying to take this apart, ship it back. Again, the tubes themselves, every steel part is galvanized or epoxy powder coated. So it really is made to withstand the elements. The pull-out force is approximately, initial pull-out force is like 3,300 pounds on each of these tapes. So basically, when a truck is hitting this, when a car or a pickup truck is hitting this, they have a lot of kinetic energy. And what this does is actually absorbs that kinetic energy by, again, deforming those tapes. We have redundant limit switches in the up and down position. So in case one fails, the other one will stop it. We have a control cabinet over here. We're just gonna stop right now. I'm gonna let Peter explain the control cabinet, because I don't do electric.
Hi, my name is Peter Stevenson. I'm the electrical engineer for this project. What we have here is the control box, or the brains for the entire system. Right now, all these wires, while they look a little crazy, spaghetti junction, right? These are temporary wiring as we are doing our internal factory acceptance testing. What the box here does is takes in 480 volt power, gives a control power transformer, brings it down to 120. And through a series of different relays, we're able to locally and remotely operate this box, operate the netting to go up and down based off of the customer's needs. If you're in a local setting, of course, you'd anticipate all your controls are operated from here with indicator lights to let you know what is happening. And then there's also a remote setting, so that way traffic control center for the client can manually can remotely operate the system. So there's a series of relays that will indicate when the system is fully open or fully closed. And then there's also, of course, e-stop and fuse and circuit breaker protection for the system. So, done.
Okay, so today we're here at Southwick Tool and Manufacturing, and we're going to demonstrate how the hand crank works to raise or lower the machine when there is no power or an emergency situation. The first thing that needs to be done is on the back of the motor, there is a brake lever. You need to pull the brake lever down and slide it over till it catches. Then that takes the brake off the motor, and you can put the hand crank on the lower shaft, as demonstrated by Scott. Then you can crank, and you can see the gear moving, which will raise or lower the net. That's raising it now. The other option is to use, instead of the hand crank, you can use a 3/4 inch socket on the top sprocket, where there is a hex, as Scott is demonstrating. And it's the same thing, you just crank it, and this makes it a little easier and a little faster, again, to raise the net. As you can see. The most important thing when you're using this hand crank is when you're done, you have to remove the chain. The chain cannot stay on the gears due to the fact that the lower sprocket spins about 5 times faster than the gear sprocket. So in turn, what that'll do is ruin the bushing that is up inside of here. So for a normal operation, the chain must not be on. It needs to be taken off, and it's simple. There's a master link. Just simply take the clip off and remove the chain. I hope there's enough to explain to everybody. Again, the most important thing, remove the chain when you're running it normal, and when you're done with the hand cranks, you need to remove the brake on the back of the motor. Thank you all. Have a good day.